أوجه نداء صادقا
كل أمل ونجاح.
Good afternoon. You're watching the English newscast on Future Television. I'm Yumna Naufal, and these are today's top stories. The Lebanese Basketball League final series between Riyadi and Sages suspended after farcical scenes on the court. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry meets the French Foreign Minister a day after an international conference held in Paris on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And former world heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali, the greatest of all time, has died at the age of 74 after being admitted to a Phoenix area hospital with a respiratory ailment. Drama on the basketball court. The Lebanese Basketball League final series between Riyadi and Sages was suspended after tempers frayed in Ghazir midway through the third quarter, while Riyadi were leading by 10 points. Riyadi, leading the series 3-2, were on the verge of wrapping up the title before farcical scenes descended on the court when Riyadi's vice president Tamam Jaroudi, protesting at the officiating table, exchanged words with Sages player Robert Boudaguer, leading to bottles being hurled in numbers from the packed Ghazir crowd. The current events of the Riyadi-Sages series are hardly surprising, with the most recent controversy occurring last season. What a fight between Ali Mahmoud and Terrell Stoglin sparked a huge brawl involving Riyadi fans. The 2013-14 final series was also interrupted for almost 3 weeks following a mass brawl in Ghazir as well between Riyadi players and Sages fans before the series was completed, with Riyadi winning 4-2. Army Commander General Jean Ahwajeh is saying that the military boosted its performance to prevent security breaches in Lebanon during the month of Ramadan. Ahwajeh downplayed speaking to remarks to the Future Movement newspaper. He downplayed concerns over the possibility of attacks during Ramadan. He also hailed the security operations that dismantled a militant cell in the Mount Lebanon town of Alay. The General Security busted a militant cell on Friday after close surveillance. Lebanese security forces have upped their measures after fears emerged that Daesh is planning to target various areas inside of Lebanon at the beginning of Ramadan. The Emir, as he is known, of Al-Qaeda-linked Abdullah Azam Brigade, Siraj ad-Din Zuraiqat, is calling on militants via Twitter to prepare for attacks during the holy month of Ramadan. Deputy head of Hezbollah's Executive Council, Sheikh Nabil Kaouk, says that Saudi Arabia is responsible for the expansion of Daesh in the region. He further lashed out at Riyadh in a seminar at the Islamic Foundation for Education on Beirut's Airport Road and accused it of supporting the barbarian group. Tensions between Riyadh and Hezbollah have been climbing steadily since the outbreak of the Syrian crisis back in 2011, where the two back opposing sides in the war. They were further exacerbated by the Saudi-led military campaign against Houthi rebels in Yemen in March of 2015. The Syrian army has crossed the boundary of Raqqa province after advancing in a major Russian-backed offensive against Daesh militants. Heavy Russian airstrikes hit Daesh-held territory in eastern areas of Syria's Hama province near the boundary of Raqqa province a day earlier. Raqqa city, further east, is Daesh's de facto capital in Syria, and along with Mosul in Iraq, the ultimate target of those seeking to destroy the group's self-declared caliphate. The Syrian army offensive is the third big assault on the self-proclaimed caliphate in recent days after Iraqi forces attempted to storm a city and a Syrian militia advanced with U.S. support. The three big offensives are some of the most aggressive campaigns against Daesh since it declared its aim to rule over all Muslims from parts of Iraq and Syria 2 years ago. Cross-border shelling by the Turkish army and airstrikes by U.S.-led coalition aircraft have killed 14 Daesh militants in Syria. The strikes target several areas near the Syrian town of Azaz, west of a U.S.-backed operation against Daesh militants, and directly south of the Turkish border town of Kilis, which has been repeatedly hit by Daesh rockets. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan said earlier this week that the U.S.-backed offensive was largely being carried out by Arabs rather than Kurdish fighters, in a sign of tacit approval for the operation. The Syrian Democratic Forces Alliance includes the Kurdish YPG militia, which Turkey views as a terrorist organization and an extension of the Kurdish Workers' Party militant group, which has waged a 3-decade insurgency for Kurdish autonomy in Turkey's southeast. Coming up next, U.S. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump rails on Hillary Clinton. Stay with us. We'll be right back. Welcome back. You're watching the 1620 o'clock news on Future Television. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry is meeting French Foreign Minister Jean-Marc Ayrault a day after an international conference held in Paris was set to revive the quest for a solution to the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. France hosted the conference with the aim of breaking the apathy over the impasse and stir new diplomatic momentum. Palestinians have welcomed the French initiative, but Israeli officials say an international conference will not work and that only direct talks between the old rivals can bring peace. Neither Israel nor the Palestinians were invited to the conference. A final communiqué said all countries present reaffirmed the need for a negotiated two-state solution and that direct negotiations between the two sides should be based on existing UN Security Council resolutions. French Foreign Minister Jean-Marc Ayrault warned that the diplomatic void meant the prospect of a two-state solution to the decades-long conflict was in a serious danger. President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has stated during his trip to Africa that the German parliament resolution recognizing the genocide and the massacres of Armenians under the Ottoman Empire had no value and will not change Turkey's position on the matter. He further expressed his wonder on how some German officials could look Turkey's leaders in the face after Thursday's vote in the Bundestag, which prompted Ankara to withdraw its ambassador and warn of further consequences. But he said that the dispute should not be a factor in Turkey's wider relationship with the European Union, acknowledging it would also do Turkey no good to act with hate. Flanked by several American female film and television actors, Democratic presidential hopeful Hillary Clinton called on supporters to reject her temperamentally unfit Republican opponent and get out the vote in the upcoming primary. Clinton was joined on stage by U.S. Representatives Maxine Waters, Karen Bass, and Linda Sanchez, service union officials, as well as several film and TV actors, including Elizabeth Banks, Sophia Bush, Sally Field, Deborah Messing, and Mary Steenburgen, who warmed up the crowd. There you go.
I think I've been pretty consistent throughout my public life. So when I talk like this, you know, Donald Trump says, oh, there she goes, playing the woman's card. Well, I'll tell you what, if talking about paid family leave, equal pay, women's rights to make our health care decisions is playing the woman's card, then deal me in. You know, yesterday in San Diego, I had the opportunity to just repeat what Donald Trump has said. I didn't make any of that up. I mean, it would be hard to make up. And by the end of working on that speech, even I was saying, did he really say all of this? Well, indeed he did. And I believe absolutely that he's not only unprepared to be president, he is temperamentally unfit to be president. He doesn't really have ideas. He just engages in rants and personal feuds and outright lies, something that our country cannot afford in a commander-in-chief.
U.S. Republican presidential candidate Donald Trump railed on his Democratic rival, Clinton, saying she was unfit as well to be president and lacked the natural talent for the job. Trump made the comments on the tarmac of an airport in Redding, California, in front of his plane. The presumptive Republican nominee started with criticism of a disappointing jobs report that came out earlier in the day. Clinton opened up a double-digit lead over Trump, regaining ground after the New York billionaire briefly tied her last month, according to a Reuters poll released on Friday. The shift in support comes as Clinton steps up her attacks on the real estate mogul's policy positions and as Trump fends off criticisms of his eponymous university and the pace at which he doled out money that he raised for U.S. veterans.
The worst jobs report in 6.5 years, okay? I don't know if you saw that, 38,000 jobs. It's going the wrong way, folks. They've been kidding themselves. They're playing games. It's going the wrong way. They had a labor participation rate. It fell to 62.6, which is one of the worst in many, many, many years. Many other people have suffered greatly for doing far less than what Hillary Clinton did. And you know what, folks? To me, as the woman just said, but she got away with it. It looks like she got away with it. Unless I win. And everything will be fair, but we're going to have an attorney general, and the attorney general is going to take a look and see. Temperament is a very important word. We need toughness in tone. We need toughness in temperament. And frankly, I honestly believe, and I really mean this, I think that Hillary Clinton is unfit to lead our country, certainly at this time. I think she's unfit. Hillary Clinton is not a talented person. She's not a natural. She wasn't meant for this job. She's greedy. She's greedy as hell. And that's, I think, the reason she wants it. But she doesn't have the talent for the job. She's not a natural for the job. And she's just not a natural talent. And honestly, folks, look, beyond me, if you choose Hillary Clinton, this country is going to die. It's going to die. She's not respected by other countries. When she goes, she won't ask. As an example, when I said Japan, look, you know, we may have to walk, but Japan, you got to pay up. You got to pay up. They're going to like me. They're going to pay up. And if they don't pay up, we have to walk. And you know what? They're going to have to defend themselves. That's okay.
Former world heavyweight champion known as the greatest of all time, Muhammad Ali, has died at the age of 74 Friday evening, a day after he was admitted to a Phoenix area with a respiratory ailment. The cause of death or the name of the hospital where he died were not immediately disclosed. However, Ali had long suffered from Parkinson's syndrome, which impaired his speech. At the height of his career, Ali was known for his dancing feet and quick fists and his ability, as he put it, to float like a butterfly and sting like a bee. Nicknamed the greatest, he retired from boxing in 1981 with a 56-5 record. Ali's diagnosis of Parkinson's came about 3 years after he retired. Ali's last public appearance was in April at the Celebrity Fight Night Gala in Arizona, a charity that benefits the Muhammad Ali Parkinson's Center. Fellow athletes were quick to offer their condolences on Twitter, as George Foreman, Amir Khan, and Mike Tyson, who tweeted, "God came for his champion." And this marks the end of our bulletin for today. Now for a reminder of our stories. Lebanese Basketball League final series between Riyadi and Sages suspended after farcical scenes on the court. U.S. Secretary of State John Kerry meets the French foreign minister a day after an international conference held in Paris on the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. And former world heavyweight champion Muhammad Ali died at the age of 74 because of a respiratory ailment. Those are your headlines live on Future Television. Have a great weekend, and we'll see you again tomorrow.
وجهوا نداء صادقا
كل أمل ونجاح